Holy smokes, folks. How are ya? How are you doing on this wonderful weekend, the day before Mother's Day? What? How do we get here? May 11th, 2024, on this very wonderful day. It's been sunny, it's been wonderful, it's been more than spring. It feels like summer to some degree. Wouldn't you agree? Anyway, I wanted to talk to you. How does it feel? Somebody wants to talk to me? What? Yeah, I want to talk to you about being a human being. What do you mean? Versus being a human doing. What do you mean? What does that mean to you? Human being versus human doing. I'm actually going to go over one of my previous videos as well, which correlates and has some direct feelings when it comes to this one. So, a human being. If you're a human being, what are you doing? If you are a human being, you are being a human being. But are you connected to you? Are you connected to yourself? Can you feel this? Can you feel this heart that you have? Can you see me? Can you feel that? Can you feel your gut? Can you feel that? Jesse, those are so broad of questions. What do you mean by all that? Well, here's what I mean. When you put things into your body like food, past this 4 inches, and you know what's happening down here, can you feel what's going on? Do you know how your body feels? So when you can do that, when you can process how that feels, that is you connecting to your body. That is you resonating with how it feels. That is you and your human being doing that. Now, a human doing, what is that? Let's go through that first, shall we? A human doing is your 9 to 5, day in, day out. You were just on autopilot. You were throwing things into this body that is 4 inches. I keep doing this, right? And this is my measurement of 4 inches. I keep throwing things in there, down, and after it gets to about here, I forget all about it. I'm just interested in filling this stomach so that hunger pain that I feel no longer feels, right? You're just filling yourself to fill that gap. You're just filling the feeling to try and feel full. You are just running the 9 to 5 because you need the money. You're just out there going to work, coming back like a human slave. You are making excuses for yourself every day, day in, day out. Jesse, I thought I told you about this. I thought I told you. Just print money, have a good life, have good health, and that's what it's all about, as someone told me. Well, I'd like to say something about that. And I'm going to talk to you specifically too. When you get to a point where no one else matters in your life, like I have, where let me rewire that a little bit. When you get to a point where you stop people pleasing, when you stop feeling like you have to hold yourself back from being authentically you, and you can make manifest of things that you want in your life, then you don't have to worry about those old cliche things like you mentioned. Okay? A human doing is just existing. A human doing is just doing things for the sake of doing just because you need to do them. And it isn't getting you where you want to be because you're not living truly through yourself. And I'm going to talk, you know what? Let's talk about this like a toolbox too, like a toolbox talk. I'm going to bring it all in tonight. All of it. Even my friends in the pit here. We're going to talk about this as if it's a mental health thing. And I want to talk about it from the lens of you need to get right with you. You need to get right, because if you're a human doing, you are just doing things on autopilot. You are just doing things to conform. Yeah, I said it again. You are doing that out of cowardice. You are doing this because this is the only thing that you know, and to go outside of your comfort zone would be something that would be, oh my gosh, that's too much. I can't feel that. I can't feel that part of me. Therefore, I have to come back into something that is comfortable. I can't feel those feelings of feeling vulnerable, feeling like, oh, that's too much, that's unknown, that might hurt me, I better step back into what is comfortable for me. Why do we do that? Because we are scared. We fear the unknown because we don't know it. We fear the unknown because we feel like it's going to be something that is going to hurt us, that is going to hurt us irreparably, or take us away from who we are now and who we're comfortable with. Enough of that. Seriously though, I'm gonna go from a point of where I felt fear back in December. So when I started to really launch this company that I have, Valiant Wellness, I realized that I needed to start stepping outside of myself. And that was a real, gotta tell you, that was a real profound experience. But that was a transition point from December to January and to February, because I needed to truly hone and get into who I was as a person. And who was that? Who was I exactly? I had started this company, and I started it back in 2020, but I used to work at it from the lens of safety, all the while naming it Valiant Wellness. So this was the goal, to get to the wellness point so that I could transition it to a point where I wanted to ascend to, I wanted to get to from there. But December and January were paralyzing because I didn't know exactly what I needed to do, and I wasn't trusting the flow, and I was getting stuck. I was getting stuck with myself. And it wasn't until January 26th where I did a 6-day water fast, advanced water fast, where I really started to feel who I was. And by day 6, when I started hitting solid food for the first time after 6 days of fasting, water fasting, and using the protocol, I started to connect with a piece of me that hadn't been connected in a while. And that was feeling my gut. That was feeling the flush, the huge flush that I did throughout the fast and all the protocols that came with it. And I started to feel my heart. And when I felt myself, my soul plug into all of that, I started to feel like I was coming into something. I started to feel like there was a renaissance, a rebirth. And that was such a wonderful feeling. It was a wonderful feeling. And I was getting help with my website, all the while trying to figure out what my business card looked like. And I was trusting a good friend of mine, and she did me well. Awesome things came from that, because it became a deepening of the friendship. We were having conversations that just came natural. They were flowing. But I was starting to trust this process a bit, because I was starting to trust myself. And I was starting to trust myself because great things started to come from that. And one of the things that she sent to me was, hey, you should look up this link. And this link that led me to a course that connected me to three mentors, and two of which, in my last transition, my last great life transition, when I separated from my wife, and I was in so much strife that I was trying to figure out what my life felt like, Victor Odo and Aaron Doughty came into my life to help me through that transition. And in they come again, the next great transition in my life. And the relationship I started to have with the content that they had at that time started to fizzle out a little bit, but now it came back in. The frequency of who they are and what they were doing, the content started to come back in. And I took this accelerated course, this accelerated business course, Conscious Business Accelerator. Wonderful course, by the way. And with that came another guy named Matt Schaefer. They just gave us the goods of what they did to get through to the point of where they launched their own business, but feeling truly authentic when they did it. And I started to feel that. I was no longer being a human doing. Seems so many little things that you're saying, Jesse. It's starting to get a little... I was no longer a human doing. I had become a human being again. And I was connecting with myself, connecting with other people. I was trusting the flow. You see, I'm drawing parallels to human doing and human being here. Human doing and a human being is existing. Yes. The difference between the two, the human being is connecting, is I am, is myself. It is self-love. It is respect. It is eating the great quality things, the great organic food. It is because you get to a point where things start coming to you, you start eating, you start living, you start doing things authentically, and you want to maintain, because once you get here and things are good, you want to get further. You want to go further. You start going, it starts to become a little bit of a contest for yourself where you go, I wonder how much better I could feel. And that only starts accelerating. And I'm telling you, my friends, it's fun. Like, it's been fun. I've ebbed and flowed. I've felt my feelings through all this. Don't get me wrong. You gotta. But here's what I'm gonna say to that. Don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone for the fear of losing your health, or fear of what somebody's gonna say, or, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm gonna deal with this. I'm gonna shut down and go back to the comfy couch that I was on before. Why? Why step outside? Do something that is do one thing that is scary every day. Do one thing that you haven't done that is just going to jolt you a little bit. Why not? Give it to yourself. Because you require it. Blue Jay says yes. So, human doing is existing, is on autopilot, is conforming, is doing what everybody else is doing, for fear that they can't and won't and shouldn't step outside their comfort zone. Human doing. Are you a human doing? How do you define that? I'm curious. How do you define what a human doing is, now that I'm speaking about it? Human being. You are a human being. And there are parts of you that are human being, but there are parts of you that are human doing right now. And if you are connecting with what I'm saying, and this resonates with you, I want to hear about it. I want to hear about how you're connecting with your human being, and you're getting out of those things that have made you just a human doing on autopilot. Human doing to me is coward, is conforming, is existing. And I mean, that's going to trigger you. That's going to trigger some people. But here's what I want to do with that trigger with you. It's going to trigger you, but I want it to fire you up. Because I have been called the transformational catalyst. And if I am that for you right now, and I've sparked something in you that's made you, this has triggered me, then learn what your emotions feel and how they feel, and why somebody on the other side of the screen like myself has irked you. And why can't I control that feeling that somebody else has said in a word that has made me feel the way that I feel? There must be something to that. Yes, there's something to that. It is deep within. It is something within you in your core that is saying, look at me now. Look at me. I'm trying to get out. I want you to see me. This is the feeling talking, by the way. And no, you're not insane. But it is trying to get you to look at it. It wants you to go, hey, feel me. Stop disregarding me. Stop distracting me with music and food and porn and alcohol and drugs. I need to get out now, because there's something that is in me that was your childhood, or your mom or your dad, or your brother or your sister that you're not dealing with. You can tell I'm all fired up tonight because I'm passionate about what this is. I am a human being. I'm no longer a human doing. What are you? What are you? Are you a human being? I want to know. If this fired you up, good. If this was your toolbox for today, yeah, have a safe shift. But we're not done yet. Mental health is just as important, and if not more important, than your physical health. What do you mean, Jesse? I got to look after my physical health too. Yeah, look after them in tandem. But if you look after your mental health, you are going to look after your physical health, because your issues get into your tissues. Your mental health becomes your physical health. If you look after your mental health first, you won't have to worry about your physical health. You feel me? Good. Toolbox talk. I'm going to handshake. Make sure you sign off. This is only going to supplement for what the safety guy has told you, by the way, too. Oh, I am a safety guy, too. You're getting double. Okay. Said a lot, but it feels good. I'm very passionate about this. I'm very passionate about what I'm speaking about, because I feel like many of you already needed to hear it out there. I feel like you needed to hear it from this tinfoil guy. I feel like you needed a push tonight. I'm your guy. I'm your sign. And on that note, I'm going to sign off. I love you guys. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. Hit the bell notification. My content's going to come to you. I want to hear about your feedback. How do you like this one? Was it gritty? Was it nice? Could I have been softer in some points? No. Yes. Tell me. I want to hear your constructive criticism. I want to hear what made sense to you. I want to hear that what didn't make sense to you, and you want more information on that. Have a great evening. Let's do this.